Welcome back. This is World Insight with me, Tian Wei. ChatGPT has been banned in some schools of a string of countries for fear of facilitating cheating in exams. It's also pointed out that technology might hamper students' critical thinking, problem-solving skills. But some analysts arguing the other way around. As AI technology booms with surprises, it poses challenges and opportunities and also raises more requirements to educators. In my earlier interview with Andreas Schleicher, initiator and director of PISA, who is now working for OECD, he shared his stand on the relationship between AI development and education. Andrea, what a pleasure to see you.
Great pleasure to see you, Tian Wei.
Tell me more about what you have found out about both the literacy and numeracy of artificial intelligence with your latest report.
Yes, normally we measure the skills of humans with international tests like PISA and PIAC, our survey of adult skills. And what we did is we asked ourselves, well, what if we give those tests to modern AI-enabled computers? And we actually found that digital technology, artificial intelligence, is quite competitive now. Its capabilities have increased dramatically since 2016. So by now, computers can compete with humans on most literacy and numeracy tasks that we use for human skills.
What's the score they are getting?
Well, they can actually compete with about 90% of the population in OECD countries, which is quite scary that actually we need to think harder what makes us human these days.
And it was before, actually your report came out right before ChatGPT and also GPT-4 came to known to the rest of the world. But given the technology is developing so fast, what could that mean now?
Well, GPT-4 and ChatGPT were not unexpected developments. Those who work in the industry of artificial intelligence have actually had similar capabilities well before, and we anticipated this in our report. We basically used those capabilities already. I think what ChatGPT did very well is to publicize those capabilities, but they're not really surprising. Artificial intelligence, generative artificial intelligence, is working at a very rapid speed to actually get beyond routine cognitive skills to emulate, problem-solving capabilities, advanced numeracy skills, and so on. And I think that's becoming now very visible.
What would that mean if they eventually could rival, quote-unquote, human beings, or even surpass human beings in their performance of these tests?
Yeah, I think what that means is that the kind of things that are easy to teach, easy to test, are now easy to digitize and automate. And that means we should look harder for skills and attitudes and values that, make us different from computers, that complement and not substitute the artificial intelligence in our computers. There's no point for us to become second best computers. Artificial intelligence will actually, be very, very soon at the level of humans on those skills. But there's a lot that humans can bring into this that technology is not yet capable of doing, like to create new things, to imagine, I think there are many human skills that we can strengthen that we should put more in focus of education.
Two things I want to ask you as a result of what you just said, Andrea. One is that you are almost like the founding father of the PISA system. I mean, you help the students to be involved in a more creative testing of their skills. But now with the artificial intelligence, it seems that you have to design something else that will be able to more reflect the human capabilities. Now, how is that thinking beginning right now? What is the process of planning right now? Maybe with the help of ChatGPT or not?
Yeah, once again, for us, these developments were not surprising. So already some years ago, we started to develop entirely new PISA assessments. By the next PISA round, we will focus, or the current round that is already done, focused a lot on creative thinking skills of young people, things that ChatGPT is not yet good at. So we already anticipate some of those.
Give me an example.
Well, where students have to design something, where they have to assess the originality, where we do not project the answer in the task, but where we leave students discretion on creating their own version of something and assessing to what extent that version is different and original, and so on. So it is already something that is part of the PISA assessment. As we move forward, the next PISA round will focus on learning in the digital world, not, find the answers. In education, we focus a lot on, teaching students answers. We need to help them to ask better questions. I think our competitive edge really lies in, not reproducing the established wisdom of our times, but questioning it, thinking, around the next corner. And that's what is very much in focus of the PISA in 2025. So absolutely, we are very carefully looking at the capabilities of artificial intelligence and redesign the PISA to respond to that.
Asking questions, well, that's my job, isn't it? I really enjoyed it 120%. I hope the students will do the same. But that is not just about simply asking questions. It's about questions comes naturally to the mind with enormous amount of research and logic and critical thinking, of course. A lot of skills involved. I'm looking forward to see some of the new tests that you're talking about. Having said that, though, another thing, you talk about 2026, very likely ChatGPT, or artificial intelligence rather, is going to be as equal as human beings in taking these tests. So let me ask you, if you look at the clock, only 3 years to go, Andrea. So how will the world's education system be able to adjust itself, to make a difference?
Yeah, again, we need to, be ready for those times. And education is less about teaching students something, but helping them to develop a reliable compass, to find their own way, to ask the right questions, to position themselves every day new in a world, to build agency, to be able to mobilize their not just cognitive, but also social and emotional competencies. So what this means in practice, students will probably spend less time in a classroom listening to a teacher explaining the result of an experiment, but do that experiment, design that experiment, draw their conclusions, ask questions. So the learning environments really need to evolve to ensure that young people get ready for this one. I believe we can do this. Why am I so confident? If you go into a kindergarten, you can see many of those 21st century skills being developed. Small children are amazing researchers. Every day they have a new idea. Every day they question what you tell them. They're always willing to learn, always willing to unlearn, always willing to relearn when the context changes. And I do think we just need to nourish those very human capabilities. We are all born with a lot of creative skills. And I think therefore, if we, give children a better chance to nourish and develop those skills,
Right.
I think we'll be able to be ready.
Another issue is about the digital divide. Now, this issue existed already with us for some years. You are putting out this report on behalf of OECD. Of course, it's a group of countries that are mostly developed economies. So what about that digital divide that has been existing between the developed and the developing countries? Are we going to see it getting ever larger given the speed of developing artificial intelligence today?
Yeah, I think there's a first digital divide, which is, access to technology and broadband and so on. There, actually, I believe probably that gap will be closed because those technologies become ever cheaper, they become more effective, they become more widespread in the world. What I worry more is a second digital divide that is opening up, and that is the divide among those humans who are really very good at, accessing the digital world and living with this and navigating it, and those who become the slaves of algorithms. I give you an example. In the last PISA test, we looked at the capability of students to distinguish fact from opinion. And Chinese students did quite well on this test, but in most OECD countries, it was a minority of students who were good at, distinguishing fact from opinion. That is the second digital divide. If you cannot understand the idea, the nature of an algorithm, you're going to be the slave of that algorithm. And that divide is much, much harder to close, and particularly between more advanced and less advanced education systems. So yeah, technology, I think, will be accessible to everyone one day. but the human skills to use it wisely. That is, I think, the biggest challenge that we are just beginning to understand.
Having said that, though, the artificial intelligence we're seeing today, especially ChatGPT and GPT-4, we see it more popular in some parts of the world. And technologies of that are in the hands of a few economies. So given the nature of artificial intelligence, the algorithm and things like that, and also the facts and knowledge and information that ChatGPT are absorbing and digesting every day based on what it has access to, what do you see that might be the danger of a third divide, which is almost like information divide in a way, to the artificial intelligence systems?
I think this is one of the most fundamental challenges. Artificial intelligence is not a magic power. It's just an amazing accelerator, an incredible amplifier. It, uses the information that it has. And if only part of the world, digitizes its information, then artificial intelligence will be looking to those parts of the world. Artificial intelligence will only see what is coded in numerical form. So in a way, things in the world that are not captured, and it could be the arts, it could be, work in emerging countries, are not visible. So basically, artificial intelligence will amplify, accelerate what it sees from those countries that contribute to this, while countries that are not contributing to this world of information will actually be increasingly separated from this. And I think that is one of the greatest risks, that our vision will get more and more distorted. We will see what is visible through the kind of numerical data that we have.
Andrea, as always, thank you so much. We learned a lot. And also thank you for putting out that very insightful report.
Thank you. It was such a pleasure to see you again.
My earlier interview with Andreas Schleicher from OECD, talking about the artificial intelligence development and the future of education. That's all we have for today's program. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. I'm Tian Wei. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you back here tomorrow.